Okay, how's everybody doing today? Of course, my name's Kent. I'll show you a couple of my lemon tree and my tangerine tree here. I'm in Oceanside, California, and I think it's the end of February 25th, 26th, 27th, somewhere about all the same. In California, you get used to the weather, so you just don't really pay attention to what actual day it is. Unlike Nebraska, which is where I'm from. But I want to talk a little bit tonight about professions, or not professions, or jobs that are going to be going away here because of AI. I talked yesterday about investing, how investing is going to change with artificial intelligence. Well, what's really going to change is what we do. Our jobs are going to change incredibly. And I want to talk about five of the biggies that I think are going to change immediately, or pretty quickly, as artificial intelligence starts to have a bigger effect on our economy and our lives and what we do every day for a living. So the first one I want to talk about is I could go on for a long time about this particular, what people do for a living. I wouldn't even necessarily call it a job or a profession, but it's real estate agents. AI is going to completely eliminate real estate agents. And if you're a real estate agent, don't take offense to this, because it's not like there isn't going to be ways to do real estate or be a facilitator of buying and selling real estate. It's just going to change. It's going to be completely different than it is today. And as it is today, it sucks. I mean, I had the unfortunately had to work with a realtor in a real estate transaction, and I never had a worse experience. I mean, like, bring nothing to the table, expect a commission, and a big commission, and do nothing for it. I mean, I always thought real estate agents was pretty useless to begin with, because I think, well, they just put it on the MLSs, and the MLS just advertises it, does whatever, and then they get a commission. And most of these real estate agents, they want to work on the buyer side. So they want to list your property, get a big commission for that, 2-3%, and sometimes more. And then they want somebody else to come and sell it for them. They don't even want to sell it. They just want you to pay them a big commission for listing it and doing basically nothing, and then have somebody else do the work and selling it. But the real estate profession is going to change incredibly. AI is going to completely change it, because we don't need them. It's a friction point. When I was doing this, most of the people that I was involved with said, "Hey, how long before the listing runs out on your real estate listing?" Because they wanted to get the realtor out of the way, because it would have been cheaper. It's cheaper for them to buy the property. So the real estate agents, they just make it so it's harder for people to purchase it. You already got incredible high prices. Out here in California, any house is worth $1 million, any family home. And then you got incredibly high interest rates. And now you add in, a 4 or 5% commission rate for a realtor. Nobody wants to pay that. Everybody wants that person out of the way. And they can't wait to get that person out of the way. And they want that person out of the way as quickly as possible, because a person's just a friction point. So yeah, realtors, definitely. That's something that's going to change. Now, if they reinvent themselves and bring value to the table, now I could see realtors, morphing into something different than what they are today, but they're going to have to start doing something instead of just hoping someone else sells a property. So yeah, you're going to have to go to work and do something. But yeah, if you can use artificial intelligence and some of the tools we have available out there right now to facilitate people being able to buy and sell real estate, yeah, you're going to have a place in the future. But as it stands today, no. It's a completely useless profession. I don't know how people, in fact, the person I worked with was a realtor, and had zero skills, brought nothing to the table but grief and misery for me. That's all they brought to the table, was grief and misery. Couldn't negotiate, didn't know anything about real estate, didn't know anything about building, didn't know anything about construction, basically knew nothing about anything. And I had to work with this person. It was a stupid thing that I did. If I would have done it all over again, I would have sold property on my own. I wouldn't have used a real estate agent. That was complete waste of time, money, and about excess of 6 figures in income to me. So yeah, that was a complete mistake, and I would never use one again. And if you're watching this, I would recommend you not use one either. They're a complete waste of money. So the second thing, I think, second profession, and they call it a profession, even though I don't think it's much of a profession anymore, is the legal profession, being lawyers. And I'm speaking from someone that went to law school. I went to law school myself, and my wife's a lawyer, so I know a little bit about being a lawyer. Didn't ever practice myself, but my wife practiced. and I'm familiar with, been around a lot of lawyers in my lifetime. They are completely useless for the most part. And the reason they are is because they've lost their soul. The legal profession has lost its soul. They literally, you don't have to watch Pam Bondi or any of these other people that are, the Attorney General and some of these other people to know that this is completely unhinged and lost its way. Lawyers are the first people to lie. Lawyers are the first people to try to do something that hurts other people. Their whole goal in any kind of litigation is to keep it going so they have billable hours. And then for them to put, they don't follow the law anymore, and it's long since quit following the law. Now it's just who knows the most amount of people, who knows more people than the other one, and who can tell the biggest lies, and who can, keep the thing going as long as they can. That's what lawyers do today. So basically, if you're a lawyer, I feel like AI is going to take you out, and I won't be too sad about that one whatsoever. I'll be happy to see a bunch of lawyers taken out by AI. And if you're a lawyer, don't take offense to it. I wasted my time going to law school. My wife's wasted most of her career being a lawyer, so don't feel bad. We're part of the we were part of the we were part of it too, and it didn't work out. So lawyers gone, finished, history. Thank God. The third group of people that I see going away, most of them, not all of them, but a lot of them going away, are doctors. I think the medical profession is going to change incredibly, because what most doctors do is sit in their offices, maybe read some blood test results and prescribe medications. There's doctors that do hands-on procedures. Even those guys are in trouble, because you got AI that can robotically do things probably better than human hands are concerned. And I'm speaking from somebody that's had their share of medical problems. So the thing about it is the first responders, absolutely we need those people. They show up on the scene right after something happens. If you've had a heart attack, or if you've had a traumatic trauma where you're losing lots of blood, man, those are the people that we really need. The doctors that are just basically sitting in their offices prescribing medications all day, we don't need those guys anymore. And we don't need them to read the scans or the blood results or any other things. That's all going to be done by AI. And like I say, maybe some of the surgeries are going to be done by AI. I'll never forget, I had what they call an oblation. And what they do in oblation is they go in and when your heart it's what they call arrhythmic. It's not sinus. Sinus is running when it beats normally. When it's an arrhythmia, it beats out of rhythm. And that's what my heart was doing, is beating out of rhythm. So, and I've talked about this on the channel before. So right before they were ready to put me under, the guy that was doing the surgery said, "Oh, by the way, I got to let you know, give you this disclaimer, or not disclaimer, but I've got to let you know, basically you could die in this operation. You could die." And that was nice to know about 5 seconds before they put me under. And then as he was telling me the story, yeah, you could die during this procedure, he told me about the guy in La Jolla, which is, if you know anything about Southern California, La Jolla is like a nice area, a really nice area, that was practicing medicine, and he was the head of that area, that department. He was like the guy that was teaching everybody else how to do the oblation. And he messed up. And I guess when they do that, they have to poke the heart. And when they poke the heart, it has to be precisely poked in a certain spot. If they don't do it precisely, you die. It's just a matter of it kills you just instantly. And this guy made that mistake, and he killed someone on the table just instantly, just killed him. And guess it ruined his career. And he just, had a bad day, just messed up and hit the heart in the wrong spot and killed the patient. And he told me that story right before I went under. So yeah, maybe AI could, some of these times when people have situations like that, the AI, but then you're trusting yourself to machine. But if the machine is trained and machine can be more precise than human hands, then AI may end up doing a lot of these surgeries that now are done by doctors. So we won't need as many doctors. I'm not saying they all go away, but I'm saying a lot of them go away. The third thing that I think is going to go away, and thankfully, just like, I don't really have that much dislike for doctors. I have a lot of dislike for real estate agents, and have a lot of dislike for lawyers. Not quite as angry with doctors, but there's certainly been a few times with doctors I haven't been happy. But this third profession, I'm glad is going away, and that's educators, like professors at colleges and people that are sitting there behind. I mean, my kids went to school, public school in Southern California, and the horror stories we heard about stuff that went on, and they're old. My kids are in their 30s. My daughter's still in her 20s, but my sons are in their 30s. And the horror stories we used to hear about some of the things that happened in the classroom are unbelievable. The teachers not caring or doing very little to teach the students. I mean, it was just really, really bad. I won't go into it, but I mean, like I say, there's a lot of educators going to go away, and for good reason. We don't need them. We don't need them. We just don't need that. I see these. We live pretty close. In fact, on the other side of that hill right there is a college called Miracosta College, and I see these kids walking to school every day, college every day, going to classes, going to do whatever they do at college. And after spending as many years as I spent in college, I feel so badly for them. I just think, man, you're going to college every day thinking you're going to change your life by sitting in some classroom and learning some information that probably is not going to be worth anything at all in the near future. And you know, what a waste of time, effort, and money. I really feel bad for those kids. So yeah, educators are going to go away. And the fifth thing that I think is going to go away, and it's what a lot of people do. In fact, it's the number one employer in the country is transportation. I mean, I see it everywhere. I go to this one little restaurant quite frequently, and they're not doing any business over the counter anymore. Their business is all takeout. People are calling their orders in over Uber Eats or one of these apps, and the place is busy, incredibly busy. As I'm sitting there waiting for my food, there's a constant stream of guys, women and men, coming in to pick up product to take out to someone that ordered it over the app. And they're busy. I mean, it's like they're sitting there going, you know, full out, trying to get these orders prepared, and they're all done by call-in or by the app. They're not talking to anybody over the phone, or is anybody in the restaurant. It's all being done through an app. So that's incredible. Not to mention that the truck drivers and the people that drive, you know, local delivery, stuff like that, all that stuff's going away. I mean, you could see we're right there at it right now. I mean, you have these driverless cars, and you're starting to see a few more and more on the road, and you know, you're starting to see things like that. You know, it's just starting to get where people are getting accustomed to it, and it won't be much longer, and you're going to see it everywhere. And it's happening fast. So if you're driving for a living, you know, you might not be driving for much longer. Not saying it's going to happen today or tomorrow, but in the near future, it's going to be different. The other thing, and I'll give you one more, I'll give you a bonus, and number 6, is I think that if you're an airplane pilot, that's going to change incredibly too. I mean, the software now to fly an airplane is I mean, these guys are piloting these airplanes right now. They can literally put that thing on a course and not have to worry about it. I mean, it's just automatic for them. You know, the airplane can fly itself. And they're doing that a lot for safety reasons. You know, the number one reason an airplane crashes is generally because of something the pilot did wrong. You know, the pilot did something wrong, and that caused the airplane to crash. In an AI world where everything's monitored and everything is controlled by artificial intelligence, you know, it's at least going to be there. I don't know if it's going to be flying the airplane, but it's at least going to be there as some sort of backup. So that's going to, you might not need a co-pilot. Maybe the main pilot is there to oversee this, but you know, where there's 2 or 3 people in a cockpit, maybe there's only one now, because you don't need a second person in a cockpit anymore because of AI. So you still have that one human in the flying the airplane, but the second are just there. So yeah, there's just so many things that are going to change with AI. It's going to incredibly change our world. And I don't know what it's going to look like in a few years. And I don't know what people, I mean, according to Elon Musk, you're only going to work if you want to. It's going to be optional. You don't have to. There's going to be some sort of UBI system in place where you're going to get some small check, believe me, it's not going to be anything anybody can live on. Some small, insignificant check. And the rest of the time, you know, you're going to be, I don't know what you're going to do. Surf the internet or, you know, be on your TikTok app. I don't know. But I guess you're not going to have to show up anymore for a job or work. because that's all going to be done. And other things like convenience stores and people that work behind counters. I mean, I've seen a lot of stuff in Japan where they don't even need people anymore. Everything's just done by somebody behind, or not somebody there, but just a machine where you just go to a touch screen, you get whatever you want, and there it is, right there for you. So anyway, AI is going to change our world, our investment world, and it's going to change the way we work, the way we live. And I see Bitcoin was still about the same, $67,000, $68,000. I'm going to keep an eye on it because I do think it's going to go higher. How quickly it goes higher, I have no idea. I don't think anybody else does either. Who knows what's going on? I certainly don't. But I do think it's going to go higher, and I do think it's going to be something. I mean, I'm looking for 150 before the end of summer, 150,000 before the end of the summer. I appreciate you watching. Thank you very much.